AI is quickly becoming a necessity in cold email if you want to successfully run outbound campaigns for your business that consistently book qualified sales meetings each month. The thing is, you can't just use AI and expect it to magically deliver you a ton of sales meetings. You need to understand where, when, and how to apply it directly within your campaign creation process in order to get good results. I know this because we have literally tried almost every AI cold email tool that you could possibly think of, and we've built and optimized one of the best cold email workflows that's generated our clients almost $2 million in close one revenue this year alone. So in this video, I'm going to break down how we're using AI to 10x our cold email campaign results by conducting the best market research, sourcing the best data from the highest intent and ready to buy right now prospects, and how to write relevant cold email scripts that speak one-to-one to every prospect on your lead list at scale. So I am incredibly excited about this video because we're heavily using AI within our business right now, and it is absolutely taking our results to the next level. And I'm going to walk you through the best use cases, at least for how we're using it with our cold email campaigns for our own agency and for our clients. But I think it's really important for you to know that AI, like I mentioned, it's not just a magic wand that's going to go and deliver you results for you. You need to really give AI structure and context as to how you want it to work and what exactly you want it to do. And you need to be as specific as possible. And before you even start, pulling lead lists or purchasing these different AI tools to try to do all this and create a kick-ass campaign, I think it's the most important thing is you really need to use it for the research aspect of things. And so with us, we're using AI very heavily for market research before we even start building out a campaign. And a lot of people skip this step, and then they just don't have a lot of the context and juice that is needed in order to give AI everything it needs to do the best job that it could. So I've listed this step out as a prerequisite, but it's essentially doing deep research on, ourselves or our clients in these cases. So we bring a new client on, we're going to be running campaigns for them. We want to know everything that we possibly could about our client's business, their service, their offering, but we also want to know what's going on outside of them. So of course we want to know who their ICP is, their target market, that's all really important, but we want to go deeper than that. And we want to understand what's going on with their prospects and the macro and micro trends of the world. We want to understand the pain points, trigger events. We want to understand the things that are actually going to make their prospects emotionally triggered to want to take action and change their current solution to something else, an alternative like our client solution. And so I've listed out some deep prompts here. You need to be super specific with what you want, because the more specific and good examples that you can give it, the better outputs it's going to give you. And so I'm not going to read through everything here because it's super long, but I will break down the highlights of the information that we're trying to get. So first, we want to, of course, have a deep company overview of our client to understand, their core products, service offerings in plain language. And we want to understand the main problems that they're helping solve for their clients. We also want to understand their, pricing, their deal size, company news, leadership changes, everything we can about our company itself. And then we want to do the same thing to figure out who is their target market, who are their ideal customers, the buyer personas, what job functions do they have, what do they deal with on the day-to-day, what keeps their prospects up at night. We want to go really deep down that rabbit hole and get all of the information about the people that we're going to be targeting, because if we know everything about them and we could speak their language, it's going to give us much better results in our campaigns. Then we want to talk about the competitive landscape. So who are their direct competitors? What are the market trends going on that are really, shaping the industry right now? So are there regulatory changes that are going on? Are there tariffs going on if you're in manufacturing? We want to figure out what are these macro trends that are going on that influence what goes on with our client's business or with the prospects that they're trying to reach out to. We also use AI during this research process to really just come up with some creative angles for our campaigns. So that could be messaging strategies. It could be where we're going about sourcing data. It could be helping us find hidden data and hidden intent signals that aren't publicly out there on platforms like Bambora. Explain that a little bit more. The best campaigns that you could possibly run are going to be campaigns that are driven by intent. And so when you think about intent, I'm not referring to just the intent signals that Zoom Info sells. Those are all good, but they're also kind of bogus. We want to find the other things that really scream, I need to buy something right now, but they're hidden intent signals. And so that could be us trying to find people who are posting about problems that our solution can help them solve. So if somebody is talking about how terrible of results they're having with their email marketing platform Klaviyo, and my client is selling a competing platform of Klaviyo, we can actually monitor those posts, catch them in real time and basically reach out to those people in a relevant way, saying that I saw how frustrated you are with Klaviyo, and then pitch our solution as that better alternative. That's just a small example, but essentially with this deep market research, we want to find different examples like that we could use that could influence how we're going about scraping data, and then what type of cold email campaign workflows we're going to be implementing for our clients. So yeah, that's number 5 here, really just finding those data signals, trigger events. And then we just want ChatGPT to go ahead and give us some ideas for the campaign, hooks, different things like that, but that's going to come a little bit later in this process here. So now we've got all this deep market research. Now it's time to actually put this stuff into action and go about sourcing the data. And we really want to find the best data. We want to build the most targeted lead list, because if we're reaching out to people who have no business in hearing from us, they're going to mark us as spam, deliverability is going to get shot, our sender reputation is going to be low, and we're just not going to get responses. Hey guys, quick break here. So the system that I'm showing you here, although it looks super easy to set up, it's actually taken me over 12 months to build and deploy this, and it's still a work in progress. So if you'd rather save yourself the time and energy of trying to figure all this out yourself and just have 8 to 20 qualified sales meetings booked for you directly on your calendar each month, then check the description below, book a call with us. We'll learn about your business, see if we're a good fit to help you scale with cold email. And then if not, no worries whatsoever, but stick around for the rest of the video because we've got some exciting stuff to show you. So I'm going to give you some of the best tools that I could possibly recommend. We use them on a day-to-day, and these are going to be around finding the best fit companies and prospects that you should be reaching out to. So number 1, I've already talked about it in some of my previous videos. If you want a deeper dive into that, check out my previous videos and you'll find that. But Ocean allows you to find lookalike companies. So these are mirror image lookalikes of your best customers. And it uses AI to actually scrape the internet, analyze customers or clients, prospects' websites for keywords, summaries, descriptions. It surfs the web for industries, and essentially it goes out and finds all the companies that are most similar to the website URL that you plug in here. And then it'll score those, and you could essentially find all of the companies that are like an exact lookalike for you. And then you could do that on the prospect level too. So if you find a job title for a company that is a perfect fit for you and you want to find more of those, you could do all of that in Ocean, and it's great. Exa AI is a new tool that it's the new kid on the block that I think might be coming for Clay. It might even take over Clay, probably not. I love both tools, but essentially Exa can help you go out and build incredibly difficult lead lists in the matter of minutes using AI agents. And it is so crazy good that I'm actually like mind blown, because for one of our clients, I was trying to build out a lead list where I'm targeting, they sell equipment leasing solutions. And a couple of their best clients are all churches. And because they're offering leasing solutions, we're trying to find companies that don't really have good margins. They're not that profitable, and they're not going to want to, finance hardware or equipment. They'd rather just lease it and pay a lower fee and not have to buy it outright because they don't have that money. And so my process was I was trying to basically go out and find churches that are actively expanding to a new location, because it's likely that they're probably going to need to buy new hardware and tech equipment for that new location. Trying to do this manually is an absolute nightmare. You could do it through Google search engine and different, recipes, but it just takes forever and the data is not that accurate. And so using Exa, I basically just came in over here for the search prompt. All I said was, I want a list of churches that are expanding to new locations or going through major renovations in 2025. You specify how many companies do you want, and then Exa and the AI agents will go and start scraping that information for you. And on top of that, it's not going to actually give you the results unless it's a complete match. And you could see, if I click on one of these examples here, it'll show you the actions that the AI agents are actually taking and the criteria evaluations. It confirms that they're actively expanding to a new location. We can see that it is a church. It actually is a church. And then I also wanted it to go out and confirm the expansion, and I wanted it to go find the decision makers at these churches, figure out who are the people we should most likely be reaching out to. It went, got their full names, and it even went and got their emails for me. So it's freaking incredible. And the thing is, I see this being scary lethal, because in cases where maybe you want to split test multiple markets, try out different industries, or scrape really niche, hard to build data sets, you could basically take what would have taken you a full week to do and have Exa go out and build you 5 perfect lead lists of 1,000 prospects to split test messaging across different markets, and it'll do it in an hour. It's mind blowing. Definitely check it out. But then the last option, if you want to use AI to go out and source this data for you, Like, let's say you have a list of companies and now you just want to find the contacts who are actively working at these companies. I've always used Apollo.io and these different list building tools, but they're very outdated. The data is stale. A lot of we found that so many of the contacts that say that they're actively working at these companies based on Apollo are not actually working there. It's about 10% of your lead list. Even no matter how well you filter and clean up your list, it's going to still have about 10% of those people that are not actively working at those companies, even if the email is valid. So now I've been using Clayagent. It's an AI agent inside of Clay.com that has access to ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, and essentially I gave it a very thorough prompt, like a super, super long prompt telling it exactly what contacts I'm looking for by job title, where to look to find them. And then it goes and gives me a nice output that is way more accurate than Apollo. And it shows all of the different owners, founders, all these job titles here. And it even tells you the confidence score, like how accurate is it. So that's a really good process and a good way to use AI to go and find, the best companies. But then, going back to the deep market research, you should really be using AI to figure out what are the intent signals that we should be looking for from the people that we're trying to reach out to. And that's where you're going to find the golden nuggets, and really all of these tools, you can't go wrong with them. But now that you've gone and built out a really, really good targeted lead list, you're ready to go out and start actually, writing some scripts. Well, we'll take a quick pause because you still need to do a little bit more research in order to influence those scripts. And so here is a diagram of our workflow here. And so assuming you have a good lead list that is ready for copywriting, now it comes down to basically feeding our copywriting AI agent with a bunch of knowledge and context around the companies that we're reaching out to and around the prospects within those companies that we're going to be reaching out to. And so you want to basically, and we do this all within Clay again. So it's using that same tool that I was just on, Clayagent. You could click over here and we have a very nice detailed prompt here. And it's basically, with this prompt, what we're trying to do is we want to figure out the macro trends. So what's going on globally that could influence, the industry or within the industries that we're reaching out to. So for example, if we're targeting manufacturing companies, tariffs is something that is a big macro trend that is going to impact how they are operating on the day-to-day basis. And then you also want to find micro trends. So you want to figure out what's going on from a company level. Do they have new leadership changes? Did they recently get funded? Have they hired any new people? And so if we can figure out all of those bits and pieces and then use that as context to give to our AI copywriter, the copywriter is going to have a lot more ammunition to make its claims much more accurately. And so here within Clay, we are also, having AI go out and write the copy. But with that deep research that we've done, we now feed that research, the outputs that it gave us, through these different variables here in Clay. So now it has all of the information that it possibly needs. And then we give it specific steps on how we want, and is this the right prompt? That's the follow-up. And then we give it specific prompts on how exactly we want these email scripts and the templates to look like. And so we tell it, what do we want the opening line to look like? So we want a pain engaging poke the bear question. Then we tell it that we want it to casually introduce our company using the context and the deep research that we have to deliver a pitch. Then we also ask it to give social proof and case studies that we've already informed it with so that it's accurate and it's tying the most relevant case studies to the companies based off who they are. And then a casual, soft peer-like call to action. But when you feed all this information to the AI model, it allows you to deliver exceptional, really relevant emails to every prospect on your lead list. It speaks one-to-one, and you can do this at scale. And so if we're looking at what one of these emails might look like, it talks exactly about the things that are going on in their business, about tariffs and rising costs, squeezing their bandwidth, and the ability to manage product development and sourcing effectively. And then we tell it a little bit about us, who we're helping, people just like them. We give social proof that talks about some of the results that we got for a client that's just like them. And then a soft call to action here. We do the same thing in our email follow-up. And I'll just give you a quick little preview here. Some may say that it's a long-winded email, but the thing is, when the long-winded email is so targeted and relevant to the person that we're sending it out to, this looks a whole lot better than any short email that is just vague and blasts out an incredible offer that people don't trust anymore. Like, this is really speaking to them. And it's been working incredibly well. And so now we are pretty much at the point where we're deploying our email campaign. You could do it in Bison, you could do it in Smart Lead. And so you're gonna start getting a lot of really good responses from prospects, and you can clearly just go and respond to these people manually. We do that all the time, but we've actually taken things to the next level, and we have AI agents built inside of Claude that are our inbox managers for us. So again, we feed it a whole bunch of context and knowledge around our company, our client that we are responding on behalf of, and it will actually go out and generate cold email responses for you. And it's not going to be perfect, but the thing is, with these AI agents, you can improve them over and over again. So that way, if it gives a response that you wouldn't actually send to the prospect, you could correct it here within Claude. And then eventually over time, it gets to the point where its responses are much better than yours, and they're a lot quicker. And if you're trying to do cold email at scale, this is the way to go. This is how we're sending over 1 million emails and responding to all of our prospects within 10 minutes. So yeah, all this stuff tied together, and you're gonna have the best performing campaign you possibly could. It's a lethal workflow. Plug it in, let me know what you think. But that's a wrap on this one. All right, y'all, that was a super fun one. Make sure to go out and start implementing some of these AI use cases for cold email specifically. You now know the tools, you have the knowledge behind it, and if you're looking to learn even more about how we're using AI and implementing it for cold email for our clients, then stick around for this next video because you're gonna absolutely love it.